When you think about chocolate, so many things may come to mind. You might think about Cadbury, M&M's, and the one and only Hershey's. With all its shapes and forms, Hershey's became one of the most popular chocolates in the world. I am pretty sure that most of the people watching this video have had Hershey's chocolate before. But the topic of this video is not the chocolate itself. Although I would love to talk about chocolate and sweets all day, however, this is not a food channel. We are here to talk about the man behind Hershey's and the interesting untold story about Hershey's and how did this kid right here managed to get his chocolate in every grocery store around the world. Everything started when Milton Hershey was born in Pennsylvania in 1857. If you don't know already, life was very difficult for anyone who wasn't rich back then. And Milton was no different. He was the only surviving child of Henry Hershey and Veronica Snavely. And when Milton was only 10, his father decided to cut himself out of the family for good, and he never saw his father again. Milton spent the rest of his life living with his mom, but due to the distress he faced growing up and moving from a city to city, he didn't do very well in school. His mom tried moving him to another school every time he faces trouble in one of them, but that didn't help him as well. By the time he turned 13, he had attended 6 different schools, and he eventually got fed up and decided to leave school for good and never come back. And of course, since he dropped out of school, he decided to take the next step and look for a job, so he can support himself and his mother as well. Things started turning around when he found a job at a German newspaper. And since Milton family originally migrated from Germany to the USA, luckily for him he was fluent in German. So the newspaper took him in and he started working there. After some time he realized that he didn't enjoy writing for the paper and left his job as well. One thing we learned from this story is that Milton was a very decisive person. He knew exactly what he wanted and no one could stop him from getting there. When he left his job, he spent a lot of time at home cooking with his mom. That's when his mom noticed he spends a lot of time on making desserts than he does on cooking the actual dinner. His mom encouraged him to make sweets and cakes, and she provided all the essential ingredients he needed to make the sweets. Keep in mind that Milton was only 14 when he would make fancy cakes with fancy toppings. His mom knew right away that her son was gifted and helped him to find a new job with a candy maker. Little did she know that it would be the best decision she ever made. After spending 5 years working at the candy shop, everyone knew his name. Everyone around the town knows who Milton is and know that he can make the best cakes. That's when Milton decided to start his own business and take advantage of his popularity around the town. He borrowed $150 from his aunt and set up his own candy shop in the heart of Philadelphia. He had all kinds of candy products and he also sold nuts and ice cream. Unfortunately, that business failed. No matter how hard Milton worked, he couldn't figure out how to get his business to make profit. The first year went by without making any profit. He pushed himself to work harder than ever, but there is no luck. Soon enough, he ran out of money and had to shut his business down. He decided to move to Denver and got a job with a candy maker where he learned that fresh milk made the best tasting candy. He realized he never added milk to his sweets, And even when he does, he doesn't do it the right way. He stayed working at the shop, learning as many skills as he can till he decided to start a new candy business. This time he would specialize in making just caramels. And finally, his caramel company was a huge success. That's when Milton decided to open up new factories and shops all over America. Even though Milton was now a huge success, he did not forget about his love for chocolate. He took the risky road and sold his caramel business for $1 million and put all his efforts into making chocolate. But there was one small problem. Back then, chocolate used to be considered a luxurious thing that only rich people can have. Milton decided to make milk chocolates that people can afford and called it Hershey's after the name of his family. He opened up the first chocolate factory in Pennsylvania. The first product that was introduced to the public was Hershey's Kisses in 1907, and later came along the Hershey's milk chocolate with almonds in 1908. And of course, as expected, since Hershey's was the only cheap chocolate in America, people fell in love with Hershey's. The company became a huge success in a short period of time, to the point that after 6 years of starting his business, he decided to build a town dedicated for Hershey's. People thought he was crazy for wanting to build a Hershey's town, but he went on with his plan either way, and now Hershey's town is a huge tourist attraction that thousands of people from all around the world come and visit every year. At first, Hershey's town started with 4 factories and a few small buildings. No one used to live there other than the employees of the factory. In just few years, he managed to turn the place into heaven on earth for his employees. From nice houses and affordable transportation, amusement parks, ballrooms, swimming pools, and much of the construction happened during the Great Depression. It seemed like the richer Milton got, the more giving he was. He managed to save up some money and establish the Hershey Industrial School for orphans. The name has changed later. Now it is called the Milton Hershey School, and it has been a home for thousands of orphans in America. Milton Hershey always had the dream of becoming rich, but it was only for him to be able to give back to the community. He was very close with his employees, and he never treated them like he was their boss. Milton Hershey continued to work till his 80s and never stopped giving back to the people around him. He died in Hersheys, Pennsylvania on October 13, 1945. Hershey transferred much of his wealth, including his ownership to Hershey Chocolate Markets, to Hershey School and the Hershey Medical Center. Milton died with a very small personal wealth. All he had was his home and other personal belongings. He had given everything else away during his lifetime. His legacy as a businessman continues to this day, especially the legacy of the Milton Hershey School, with it now serving about 1,900 students every year. You might ask, what was the takeaway from this story? How can you, the person that's watching this video right now, benefit in any way from the story you just heard? Because every story I tell in my videos has a purpose, and the purpose from this story is that it's okay to fail. It is okay to fail for the second time, for the third time, it doesn't even matter. Milton Hershey had more failures than success, but we never heard of them. I never heard of his failures until I had to do some research to make this video. Years from now, after you have failed few times, no one is going to remember your past failures. So might as well just take the chance. If you have made it this far in the video, make sure you give the video a like if you have enjoyed it. And if you haven't enjoyed the video, you are free to leave a comment down below on what you didn't like and how can I improve in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.